So you're wondering what winter in Montana is really like? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into here. I'm going to go in depth about the snow, the cold, and when to expect that winter weather here in Bozeman, Montana and the Gallatin Valley. And really, it applies to all of Southwest Montana. So let's get started right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Bozeman, Montana and other areas here in Southwest Montana like Livingston, Ennis, Big Sky, and Three Forks, then be sure to subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the current market here in Southwest Montana. My name is Hallie and I am a local real estate agent here in Bozeman, Montana, and I get calls, texts, and emails every single day from people just like you looking to make their move here in Southwest Montana, and I absolutely love it. Whether you're looking to move or buy or sell real estate here in the next 9 days or 90 days, just give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email, and I would be honored to help you find your place here in Southwest Montana. All my information is in the description below. So as you may have already heard, Montana winters can be tough. Harsh cold, wind, and snow do frequent the area in our winter months here. And, we are in a valley in the, southwest part of a northern border state. So we are pretty high up north here, and, we're surrounded by mountains in this valley here, the Gallatin Valley. Winters do vary, from year to year. Some can be more harsh, some are a little bit more mild, but it's pretty unpredictable. It's not something that we can usually, tell you what to expect exactly. Once we're well into the winter, sometimes we can say, well, yep, the snow just keeps on coming, but it's not really something that we can predict, sooner than when we're all in it. So the Gallatin Valley includes Bozeman, Montana, Belgrade, Gallatin Gateway, Manhattan, and some other, additional small communities that are in this valley or this area as well, of course. And the mountains that we are surrounded by include, the Bridger Range, the Crazies, the Gallatin Range, the Tobacco Roots, just to name a few. So we really are surrounded on all sides by all these different beautiful mountain ranges. So how much snow do we actually get? Bozeman in general averages about 63 to 82 inches of snowfall per year. Now, of course, that doesn't all come at once. We might get some smaller storms. We might get a storm that'll bring, 1 to 2 feet at a time. But it varies depending on, what weather patterns and wind and everything are factors as well. And then if we move into the mountains, of course, the Bridger Ridge usually sees an average of about 300 inches per year of snowfall, and Big Sky and Lone Peak tend to see closer to 400 inches per year on average, which I would, if you ask me, that's pretty significant. Typically, though, it is pretty dry here in general, so we don't have the high humidity levels of some other areas, and therefore our snow isn't as, wet or heavy or higher moisture content as some other places. And so what that means is we get this dry, amazing, fluffy snow for most of the winter, with the exception of spring and fall when things can be a little bit heavier, of course. But during the winter, we get this amazing, dry, fluffy snow that makes for some great fun in the mountains, but let's keep that one between us. So of course, with that kind of snowfall, we've got to talk about some of that fun in the mountains, right? So in addition to skiing and snowboarding, of course, there is snowmobiling, snowshoeing, ice climbing, and cross-country skiing, all enjoyed by locals and visitors alike. The two closest ski areas, of course, are Bridger Bowl and Big Sky Resort, but there are some others nearby that are totally worth checking out, including, Great Divide, Showdown, as well as Discovery. So Bridger Bowl, with the Bridger Ridge and the Bridger Range, rather, positioned as it is, tends to get some really incredible snowstorms, sometimes with unbelievable depths, and this dry, fluffy snow that people often refer to as skiing the cold smoke. There have been times, in fact, where people are out there with snorkels, just having a blast skiing as the snow flies over their head. It's absolutely amazing, and I'm sure if you looked it up, up, you could find some videos or photos of people snorkel skiing at Bridger Bowl. And Big Sky boasts over 5,800 acres of skiable terrain, 38 lifts, and 322 trails. So needless to say, when people come out here to go skiing, they typically end up coming back for more. So one of the most common questions that I get is, when does the snow start flying and how long does it last? And so, you know, I vividly remember growing up and having my Halloween costumes designed to fit over a snowsuit. Now, of course, that doesn't always happen, but typically we do get snow starting to be consistent by sometime around mid-November, and it doesn't usually let up until late April or even into, you know, early to mid-May. So with all of that said, Montanans are, of course, very used to the snow, and you know, it's part of our life here, part of our culture even. So as a result of that, of course, you're not going to see snow days like you might see other places that don't have the same kind of climate or snowfall that we get here. Typically, school is not going to be canceled, and your employer is probably going to expect you to be at work regardless of any cold temperatures or big snowstorms happening. So be sure to bring your coat and your hat and your gloves and maybe even some snow pants and just enjoy it as best you can. Now, of course, all that snowfall is not just limited to the mountains. It's going to fall on the roadways and in town as well, which can make driving a little bit tricky at times. You know, it may be ice or snow or slush on the road, or perhaps an active snowstorm is, you know, causing issues with visibility. The city and counties have all but mastered the art of, you know, snow removal and plowing, but it's not perfect. And sometimes we get storms that are just too big and they can't clear it all fast enough or enough. So if you live in Montana, you're gonna be driving on icy or snowy roads. So as always, it's best to be prepared. Having four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive is best, and having some good snow tires can also make a huge difference. And give yourself plenty of time to get where you're going. Being in a rush and snowy or icy roads are not a great combination. Worth mentioning specifically is the drive between Bozeman or the Bozeman Airport and Big Sky Resort. In the summer months, it can take about an hour, but in the winter, I usually tell people to give yourselves at least an hour and a half for that drive. It is through a windy mountain canyon along the river, and there are a lot of shaded areas that don't see a lot of sun during the summer, and so there's gonna probably be icy patches there, you know, regardless of if there's been a recent snowstorm. So definitely give yourself plenty of time and use caution on that road. And, you know, there are pullouts where you can actually turn off the road safely and let cars from behind you go ahead of you, so that you know, you're not holding up traffic, or you're not potentially having somebody who's antsy to get around you, who's more used to the road, that sort of thing. Just use caution on that road, and when in doubt, you can always pull over and give yourself a moment to breathe and let people get past you, so you're not feeling rushed in any way. So how cold does it get? The average winter temperature in the coldest month of January in Bozeman, the average high temperature is 34 degrees. The average low is about 12. And then further south down in Big Sky, of course, at a higher elevation, we're looking at an average high of 32 degrees in January and an average low of 9 degrees. Now, these are, of course, averages. There can be colder temperatures as well as warmer, of course. But usually in January, we all anticipate that there's going to be at least 1 week or a few days where the temperatures plummet well below zero. I've seen, I think, as cold as -30 driving towards Big Sky. And that's before you factor in the wind chill. And so it's really important to be prepared for that sort of thing, because it can be dangerous to be out there in those kinds of temperatures without the right clothing or protection for your skin even. So with all this amazing snow, the holidays are pretty magical around here as well. In early December, the city of Bozeman closes down Main Street and puts on this event called the Christmas Stroll. They put up these amazing decorations that are affectionately known by locals as the Christmas spiders because of the sprawling garlands, but really the lights are absolutely beautiful. You know, they close down Main Street. There's food vendors and activities. The shops are open offering cider and hot cocoa. There's little fire pits around, and it's just a really great kickoff to the holiday season. Winter is definitely one of the best parts about living in Montana. At any age, there is something that you can get out there and do. Get out there and go sledding or build a snowman. Just do your best to embrace it, and they won't feel quite so harsh. So one thing that some people do struggle with is the limited daylight in our winter months here. So in late December, the sun's going to set in Bozeman around 4:45 p.m. and it doesn't come back up again until about 8 a.m. So if you're the type that doesn't love winter and would rather hibernate than brave the cold, particularly with some of the extended lack of sunlight that can happen due to snowstorms or just the shorter days, it can be beneficial to take some extra vitamin D or get a sunlight. But of course, I am not a doctor, so be sure to talk with your provider and get their recommendation for what you might need. The most Montana thing to check out, whether you're visiting or you've just moved here or you've been in the area a while or haven't done it, is ski joring. It's something to see at least once in your life. It's a sporting event where a skier is pulled behind a horse, going over obstacles and jumps, and it is a timed event, racing against competitors, and it is an absolute blast. So what's your favorite thing about winter? Or maybe what's your favorite thing that you've experienced here in Montana in winter? Or if you have any other questions, be sure to leave those in the comments below and I'll be sure to get back to you. And if you're interested, definitely go check out some of my other videos on the different areas of Bozeman, Belgrade, and other things going on here. And be sure to subscribe so that you won't miss my upcoming videos about other areas here in Southwest Montana as well. And of course, whether you're looking to make a move in 9 days or 90 days, just give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email, and I would be honored to help you find your place here in Southwest Montana. And until next time, I hope to see you out there.